Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to episode 2 of Foundation, A Perfect Start. Now, what we have done is we have forgotten to build a church. So, over the course of today's episode, we will build a church and we'll also do a lot of other essential stuff for the development of our town in its early stages. First of all, let's just have a refresh on everything that we have. So we have our granary, we have a warehouse, we have a well that we've built near the work buildings. I didn't know whether it was relevant or not, but it does no harm. Now, what we want to do is have a look at some of the other stuff that we will eventually be able to unlock. Now, at the moment, we're at prosperity 16, so we need to increase our prosperity to 20 so that we can unlock bread making, fishing, and various other things. Now, we can unlock under labour, which is the kind of faction that we're going with. You have labour, kingdom and clergy. The choice is yours, but normally in this game it's ideal to favour one over the others. If you share favour amongst all of them, it's more difficult to unlock the better stuff. Just having a quick look at what we're selling. And again, you can click over all the different various pieces of information to learn where your city is currently sitting. So again, under clergy, you have monastery and rustic church splendor. Under kingdom, you get a fort. And then under labour, you get manor house splendor and market splendor, and also decorative items as well for your town. So if you're going to want to make a nice town that you don't necessarily want a massive monastery in or a massive military complex, go with labour. Okay, so what we're doing now is we're just checking our zoning areas to make sure that everything has been set up as expected. So that's our forester, who is obviously reforesting these areas, while our lumber camp is cutting down all of the wood. Again, essential building process at the beginning, but we will also, over the course of today's episode, unlock the stonemason so that we can start cutting stone blocks. So again, this allows us to build additional stuff. Now, what we could probably do with is another warehouse, more importantly, near to our quarry, so where the guys are getting stone. Now, do we put it there? I think maybe actually what we'll do is put it the other side. Yep, down there, because it keeps the red zone. So that red circle is the noise area effect for residential buildings. So if you have any people living nearby, they won't like it. Which is why you want to keep your residential area and your work area separate. But as you expand further, you need to kind of have cushioned residential areas with your working areas. Because obviously you can't do that long term, because if you've got people travelling an extremely long distance to their place of work, then they will get to their workplace, perform one action, and then will return home again, which again is not something that you want. At the moment we don't have that issue because the village is fairly small, so we don't have to start thinking about work journeys or looking specifically at who is employed where. Now, let's have a look at the graphics of this game. I think it's quite nice to occasionally zoom in and have a look what's going on. So we can see the people carting the goods to the warehouse. And again, what is available to be stored within the warehouse. Now, I haven't assigned stone. So at the moment, our stone miners will stop once that mine is full and has no more storage, because we don't have any storage allocated anywhere else. Now, what we also want to do is expand our market and make it a bit bigger and look a bit nicer. But we'll do that again a little bit later in the episode. So we're currently courting the Labour faction with our chappie who has gone there. So Ordoof, I think his name is, or something along those lines. Again, that's an action that we've performed. And something else, we are currently positive for income. So at the moment we are in the plus at the top there with the scales, which is what you want to be, and as you develop further you want to keep that positive. Now, it may slip into negative as you build stuff, but that is fine. It's as you build stuff you will then earn more, because you will attract more people to live at your village. So let's go to market. Now, when you go to edit the structure, what you can't do now that we've unlocked market splendor is add like a cover to this existing one. You'll have to build more. So if you go to Market Stalls Court, which we have, Let's drag this up here so we can actually see what we're doing. Now that red market tent looks quite nice, and we could clip that on there like that, but can't construct because requirements not met. Now the requirements aren't met is because it's not recognising that it's been attached to a market stall. Now you can go the free build route, but what we can do is just add another market stall. So what we will do is we'll close this off, so we'll cancel it, so clear changes and clear, and then what we want to do is build a sub building which will be an additional market. So here we go, market stall. We want a second one anyway, so the question is where do we want to build it? And good question. Let's close that off for now. We've got another person that's ready to join our village. Let's have a quick check on our resources. So we've got a granary there with no staff, so let's assign some staff. And again, there's a warehouse that has no staff assigned, so we will need somebody else, and that will be the person that's sitting there. Now the woodcutter's currently got 3 people, so we could go and get rid of one of the woodcutters to add them to the warehouse, but we have just got an additional employee anyway in the form of a villager. So there we go. And now we want to assign stone, so that's polished stone, and we also want to assign the raw, which is stone itself, and we'll switch the other one to stone as well, because at the moment we don't have any polished stone, so we don't have a stone cutter yet. Okay, right, now let's check our granary. Okay, so at the moment we only are storing berries, but we can store additional resources, but we don't have any other additional resources at the moment. Okay, we've got another newcomer approaching the village, so population continuing to go up. Let's go back to our market, edit the building, select a function, or we could just add some decorative items. But what we're going to do is market stall court or free build, it's up to you. And you can also go to the current installed parts and you can destroy the building part if you want and start again, or you can leave it and expand it. Okay, so we've skipped forwards a little bit because the next thing that we want to do is scrub out the area around the market for residential. So basically just make sure that you can't build a house where we're building the market, which is the logical thing to do. Now we're still at 16 prosperity. The only way to increase that is with decorative items and improving buildings, which is why we want to improve the market. Now I know I've been talking about it quite a bit now without actually doing anything to the market, but we are going to do the market now. Okay, so again we have our market, and what we want to do, we don't need to change the resources because the berries is all that we currently have. We don't have anything else. You could start an entirely new market, or again, as I've said, you can edit, add some decorative items. So let's add some barrels to this existing one anyway, just to increase the look of the place. And then what you can do is place some benches that people will sit down on. Okay, so let's put this one there. Let's turn it a bit and put it at the edge so that people can come and have a nice seat. And turn that one a bit as well, just to highlight the existing paths, and then just go build. So we've added the barrels and those 2 benches. They will now be constructed, and we want to build a grandiose market. So our market will be grand. Add the 2 newcomers. So that's 2 additional people that we have to now work. And now we need to make the market splendid. So we're already building those items, the barrels and the 2 benches, but what we do want to do is make the market even grander by adding a stall that has a cover over the top of it. Okay. Now we have some new advice which can be heard down in the bottom left hand corner here, so let's click on that. Favouring an estate. Okay, so as I've already mentioned, we will favour the labourers. So our manor houses will serve the labourers. You can choose your own personal choice, whether that's the clergy, the labourers or the kingdom. Or continue on your own without favouring any specific faction. Again, the choice is entirely yours, but we're going to go with our manor houses will serve the labourers. And let's dismiss that notification. And now we will actually expand the market. So we've got improving the market. We need to reach 5 labour splendor with the market. Now we've increased it a little bit already by building the barrels and the benches, but we need to improve it even further. So select a function, market stalls court, grab a new market stall. I think maybe put it, actually what I think I might do is move it behind actually. You can put them back to back, but I think it might look better to the left hand side of that path maybe. I mean, we could turn it round and snap it on, see? So you can have them next to each other. Or, now the dot goes red, so I don't think one person can serve 2 sides necessarily. Not entirely sure on that one. Haven't tested the theory yet, and it's something I might test in a later market construction. But let's put a red tent over the top of it as well and build. Now that should be enough to reach the level of splendor required for the market. So as you can see, we're going to have those benches. Second one's being built now. Then the additional market stand and the fact that it's covered, and it also uses half of our available cloth. So going forwards later in the video, we will also need to talk to our market traders, so the people that are trading with the local towns, and have a look at our resources and see if we can get cloth. Because again, you're given a fairly short supply at the beginning of the game, and you will need more as you progress. It just happens to be that your first trade partner, you can get cloth. So by clicking up there, by the way, it will track individual serfs, so individual people within your village, and you can click on them and follow them around. So if you want to monitor a work journey, what you can do is see where the person is going, where their work journey is, and how far they're travelling to and from, to work out maybe if you want to employ them at a building that is closer than the one that they're currently going to. Now you can see that residential building is being expanded to a 6-person residence. So a base building has a population capacity of 4, and then an expanded one has a population capacity of 6. There we go, got another person in our village. So improving the market, it still hasn't been constructed yet, so hopefully once that is done. And we also need to add splendor to our manor. Now to do that, we need the manor splendor package, so let's purchase that, and then you need to add the chimney. So we go to the chimney and try and add it to the building. Now this is an annoying element. It doesn't tell you. Now what I'd done there, okay, meeting the elders, okay, support is much appreciated. They brought welcoming gifts, tools, lovely, thank you very much. Now what I was going to say is if you don't click on the sub building, you can't add the chimney. So there we go. Now that we've clicked on the sub building, we can add the chimney. Whereas before it was sat on the ground and it wasn't attaching to the building. So you have to physically click on the piece of the manor house that you want to add the decorations to. Otherwise they won't snap to the building and you won't be able to add them, and they won't be recognised as part of the building. So that's something that I was a bit frustrated with when I was playing the game. Took me a while to figure out, but got there in the end, so that saves you the time. So when you want to add splendor items to a building, you literally click the sub-building and then add the components that you want to add. So our market stall is going along nicely. We'll add fish to the second bench, even though we don't have any fish. It will be our second product. And then of course you have bread as well, but bread we are a long way from making, and will probably be in the next episode. This episode is about 40 minutes, so it's quite a lot of footage to get through. But again, there is a lot of progress over the course of this episode before we move into the next episode. That's actually 2 different residences. Okay. So it's 2 6-people residences, just of 2 different shapes that are right next to each other. Okie dokie. So there we go. It's the pathing and stuff. We've just reached the busy tier. So our common path has now leveled up and we have 20 splendor. And now look at this. We can unlock fishing, we can unlock clothing, we can unlock farming. And if we have a look at everything else, but that unlocks a windmill and a farm and a bakery. So it unlocks 3 buildings. There we go. Our market has now been improved. So we have also improved our relationship with labour. And we have somebody coming in. So we'll see what they want once they get to our manor house and have a conversation with them and see what they're going to do to help us. So let's assign a second person to the market. And here comes the running guy on the horse. Okay, villagers believe we have been prosperous enough to enact our very first edict. Okay, so let's ratify an edict. And dismiss. Okay, so we've got the question mark over the dude there as well, but we also have to now enact an edict. So we need to acquire, there it is there, contractual wage edict. So we'll purchase that. It's 100 coins. It's not cheap. But once we've purchased that, we will be able to enact the given edict that we're purchasing, which will sign off that objective, basically. Okay, let's close that off for now. We're not going to do it immediately, and let's add that person to the village as well. So, earning influence. We don't have a builder, so we can go not interested, but let me tell you now, you want to hire someone on your behalf if you don't have a builder. So, mainly, the reason that we couldn't do that is because we hadn't unlocked bridges. Now, if you'd unlocked bridges, at the top there, the brown wheel, you would have been able to send one of your builders to build the bridge for them and it wouldn't have cost you any coins. Now we're just going to quickly save the game, and this is really a reminder that as you're going through, you do want to save your game and make sure you're saving over the correct game as well, or create a new save. Just one of those simple reminders. Just remember to save stuff because you don't necessarily want to go back to an old save if you do something wrong. Okay, we can dismiss the estate influence. I've already been explaining to you, you can choose who you wish, whether it's labour, kingdom or clergy, and to gain favour with those estates. So our bailiff is now back from their diplomatic mission and has gained 10 influence with labour. Now, as the game progresses, we can use that influence to purchase things. So we have 35 influence accrued, 7 at the base level, which is what we've got from our relationship with the labour estate, and the rest for the objectives that we have completed. Okay, so we've got a newcomer approaching the village, and we have mandates available. Now, we don't want to start any additional mandates at the moment. Again, most of them are expensive. You can revise an edict. Again, that costs 300, but we don't have any edicts in place at the moment. Okay, I'm just having a look around our village before we go on to the next thing. So let's purchase the contractual wage edict. Then we need to enable an edict. So for that, we need to go to edicts and privileges, and we have unlocked our first slot. So contractual wage, there we go. We've enabled the edict, we've followed the advice, we've got another wax stamp, and it has been successful. So at the moment we now have nothing outstanding in the form of any challenges, but one of the things you'll notice is our happiness has gotten quite low, and it's why the episode is titled as such, because we've forgot the church. That's right, we've completely forgotten to build a rustic church to allow our villagers to go and worship, which is essential, of course. Just having a quick look at our buildings as well, how everything's doing. You can see how much is stored, and of course we have space for one additional resource. You can pick additional wood or whatever you decide. You might have a lot of excess resources of a different particular type, and you also want to pick other things that you can store in the granary. So let's assign fish. There we go, and close that off. And of course later on we can build more granaries. Okay, now that again is stone and stone, And let's go... no, we haven't unlocked the stone cutter yet, have we? So that will be one of the next things that we will want to do. So let's go in, have a look at what we're buying and selling, our trade routes. So for that one we need 20 clothes, and for Davenport, which is down below, which is actually the next one you want to unlock, that's my personal opinion, is Davenport, and that will allow us to buy a lot of additional resources. Once you've unlocked all three, you can pretty much buy and sell everything, depending on the town, but of course you don't need to manage that at all. You just choose what you want to sell. Okay, so here we go, a most generous offer, thank you. So they want to trade a fair number of fish for some of our stones. Well, we've got a lot of stone at the moment, so a most generous offer. So what do they want? They want 25 stone. Okay, and they give us a load of fish, or we can trade some favour. So we can trade 5 of our labour favour to get the 50 fish. But because we've got a lot of stone, we may as well agree to give the stone. And we've got another newcomer. There we go. Now, to actually get rid of the stone, you have to click on it. So, advice, trading stones for fish. You click on it and it's fulfilled. If you don't click on it, it will time out and you will fail. So just quick note, and I will say that again, when you agree with someone who's coming to your manor to offer something for something, if you already have the resources, go down to the left hand side and click on it, because it won't be fulfilled automatically. And again, if you forget about it, it'll only have a certain amount of time before it will expire, and if it expires, you get the negative consequences of failing to deliver on what you've promised. So again, we can have a look at our budget. So this month we're in the positive, plus 33. So we're currently in good territory, which is what any city builder game, you always want to balance your economy first. Otherwise it's a very short game, because I'd imagine this game will operate the same way, which is if you run out of money, you'll go broke. Now what we probably want to unlock is something else. So fishing, clothing, and the next one along, which is stone cutting, and you've also, so the stonemason hut, and that will be the one that we unlock next. Just having a look at the trade routes. So again, see, sell to them polished stone. So we can unlock the stonemason, and it's an additional resource that we will be able to sell. So there we go, we've unlocked, and there's a stonemason hut. And let's go and put it near to our quarry. We might as well keep them close to each other, makes the journey quicker. It doesn't really matter where we put it. There's 2 entrances by the look on it, one on each side, and there looks like a good place. So let's build. Now you'll notice that required cloth, and we do have 5 cloth left in storage, so we can complete the building without any issues, but we will then have no cloth left at all. Okay, so we now have our stonemason. I have just skipped forwards till it's finished, and the next thing that we want to do is build a church. So services, so a rustic church. So again, you place down the pole where you're going to build it, and I think we'll build it at the top of the town here. And then let's add these people to our village. There we go. So we want a thatched nave. Let's rotate that around. That's at a bit of an obtuse angle. That'll do. And we also want a door. So we'll put the door onto the church. And you can put a wooden chapel inclined. But what we want to do is add a tower. So once you've placed it, you can... So here we go. Let's click and place the actual tower. And then what you can do is you can hold down the key and raise the height of the tower. So I think just a little bit taller, and let's get it built. So our villagers can improve their happiness from the 70% that we are at now, because they'll actually be able to go to church and serve their service needs. So it's just called service. Okay, so our stonemason is cutting the polished stone blocks. Very, very good. They're being stored in our second warehouse. Oh, and we've got somebody else coming into the village with an announcement. Influencing others. Okay. Right. So nothing that a few coins can't buy because we don't have any favour with the clergy. So we can use nothing a few coins can't buy, or we can do it is not worth it. So it will change our trading relationship with Northbury, or we could go it's not worth it. It's entirely up to you if you want to spend the coins, but we don't have any influence with the clergy, so we only have the option to pay or go it's not worth it. So we get a trade price bonus of 10%. Meh, not worth it in my opinion. We'll leave it as it is. If you want to, of course, spend the 50 coins and gain that price change. Okay, in the meantime, let's have a look at our different resources. So now we want to sell above a given number. So let's put in, what are we going to say? How many do we have at the moment? Just one. So at the moment we only have one polished stone. Let's put it above 5. So anything above 5 we will sell to the neighbouring town. So there are now 2 resources that we are selling. Our economy is in the plus, but let's increase our tax a little bit now that we have service. So because service is going to improve happiness, you can see the difference in the amount of revenue by clicking between the 2 different ones and the effect on happiness. So we're at -5 if we leave it where it is, and we are making money, although that's actually just gone to +0, but that's mainly because the rustic church is being built, which is not a cheap endeavour. And what I will do is I will skip forwards to the church actually being finished rather than waiting around and slowly watching it being constructed. So the foundations are in, the workers and builders are bringing all of the resources to keep constructing the church. And there you go, see, look, bringing those little boxes in and dropping off some more resources, and they're starting to build. So you can see the little construction pillars going up. You can see our residential area. So the church sits just at the edge of it. Now you could minus off that residential area, but yeah, we don't need to. So let's skip forwards. And here we go. So a nice little angle, and the church has been built. Okay, and we've got another 2 people for our village. There we go, rustic church built. And there we go. You can ring the bells as well, which is quite nice, and zoom in and you can hear them. So there we go. The bells of the church are ringing. There, lovely. People straight away going in, and look at that, happiness already improving, which is what we wanted. So we've got a good market set up. We've got, let's add some extra benches. So let's add some more prestige to our village. So let's add a bench there. Let's put another one over here. Oh, we clicked off of that. Let's try that again. Let's pause. Makes it a bit easier without people running around. Right, rotate that bench. There we go. So that's now 4 benches. Now we could put in some rope fence, or we could put in some more benches. I think more benches is winner winner chicken dinner. So, and put another one there as well, I think. That's it. Nice. So that's 4 new benches, which is going to cost 20 planks and 4 tools and craft, and off they go. So that will now be built, and we are moving towards the end of episode 2. So we have another 5 minutes or so to go. Oh, we are the pious servants of the faith. So words of your village's first church have reached the clergy. So they're now happy with us and have given us 10 favour. So had we built that church a little bit sooner, that previous challenge, we would have been able to just curry 5 of our clergy favour rather than having to pay coins or saying not interested. But it is what it is, and it's certainly not the end of the world. And you can see another house has been built behind the church as our residential area expands. And of course here come the boxes. So let's skip forwards again. And skip. Okay, so what we are now, we are concentrating on the working area. So we have our 2 warehouses. Again, having a look at what we're buying and selling, and one of those things that we need to buy is probably going to be cloth, but they do sell it. Good. Okay, so what we can do is go back to our resources, go to cloth, and go buy, and then add a number, and I think 5 is probably enough. There we go, and that will give us a permanent cloth supply of 5 until we're able to craft our own, because cloth is obviously used in various buildings. Now, what you are going to see just before the end of this episode is the beginnings of farming. So I will unlock farming and put down, or almost put down, the initial building, and then we'll leave the rest of laying out the fields, putting in the flour mill and the bakery for the next episode of the series. But this, if you've been following along, you should now have an effective and well-running village, and be well set up for going forwards. As you can see, we're still positive with our economy, so our coins are slowly going up. We have minus 11% for food and minus 14% for taxes. So the minus 11% for food, that is something else we will be doing in the next episode. We want to have both bread and fish, because then we will have bread, fish and berries, so 3 different food types, and what that should do is improve our happiness even further and get our serfs up into the 80% region. Village prosperity. Okay, so we need to put down some decorative bushes. I love that when you get a thing like this. Let's put down some decorative bushes, shall we? Okay, let's plant decorative bushes. So for that, we need to now unlock decorative in the book. So we need to go to the book, we need to go to our progression, and let's have a look. What's that? Decorative bush. Okay, so it's 50 to unlock it. We've got 176, so we can afford to. But I'm pretty certain these are going to cost coin, because they're decorations at the end of the day. So let's have a look. Decoration, decorative bush. Yes, it costs 2 coins. Not a lot. So let's put some down. This is where the decision process comes in. I will beautify this game as we go along. But for now, we've built a decorative bush, there we go, and we followed the advice. So you can now put down more decorations. Now what I do like is when you put down a decorative tree, it actually starts as a sapling. So we can put a road sign in now, and we can put some fence, and we can put in a decorative tree. So look, that's how big it would be. Let's put it, where are we going to put it? Near the market maybe? Maybe around there? Let's try that again. Costs 5, so we do have enough coin to do it, and it gives 1 beautification. Okay, so we can put it next to the barrels. I think that's a good place. And build. So as you can see, it starts as a tiny little sapling. Okay, and it grows over time, the same as when the forester reforests the trees when the woodcutters cut them down, which I thought was quite cool, that you didn't just get an instant full-size tree, that it actually grows over a period of time. So next thing before the end of the episode is to unlock farming, and then that will be the end of the episode. So we will just watch this. I won't commentate over because it is the last couple of minutes, and all it leaves me to say, of course, if you're enjoying the content, please do subscribe, and until next time, I am Know It All Gaming.